All right, everybody, welcome to week one. This is going to be another kind of easy week. Not much to do, but there is some reading. First, you're going to watch this video that you're watching right now. Read chapter one and do the chapter one quiz. That's it. There's only like 7 questions on the test, but read the chapter so you know what's going to be happening in the future. When you click on this link, it should open up. If you've already enrolled and got into the course in Cengage, it should open up right into the chapter, just like this. If it's not working like this for you, please let me know. I think right now it's not showing me that anybody's enrolled in the course, so I need to make sure that's happening. And if it's not, please send me an email. In this chapter, if you see, the 1.1 is going to talk about the world of mobile computing, and then 1.2 is going to talk about chapters 2 through 13. Now, the first time I started going through this, I got a little confused because I thought I was going through chapter 1 and reading all this, and then I was all of a sudden in chapter 2. I thought I had finished chapter 1 or this module, but no, this is just what is going to occur in chapter 2. And this chapter kind of summarizes everything that we're going to do going forward. So just familiarize yourself with this. There are some terms that you're going to need to know. And one thing that's fairly important that we need to talk about is web apps themselves. Now the word application can be a bit misleading. A lot of people think the little icons on your phone, it's an application, the games, the apps, all that stuff that you use, and that is true. But there's something called a dedicated application, and then there are mobile applications. They're different. What we're going to be doing is mobile application development. So we're going to use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to move from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. And if you don't understand what that means, I'll put a link in the comments that it'll bring you to this page, and it'll kind of show you the progress of the web we've been doing. Web 1.0, if any of you are old enough to remember the internet as it was, there wasn't a whole lot of interaction. It was a bunch of stuff you could pull up, kind of like this website, static stuff, information you can read, move to the next page, back and forth, but that was kind of it. 2.0 allowed us to put multimedia on there and do all kinds of other things. Then there was kind of a split. The projection went this way, Web 3.0, 4.0. We kind of dropped off and we've not met this curve here. We're at like 2.5, somewhere around there. But Web 3.0 is going to make everything more dynamic and more decentralized. Right now, everything's kept on a bunch of servers, kind of all in the same location, but it's going to work more like a peer-to-peer, where little pieces of everything are scattered everywhere. So this is what the web is moving to, and most mobile devices, Internet of Things, and that kind of stuff will do the same. This will give you a much better definition of, what's going on with the web in the future if you're interested. This is not part of the course material, but it's good to know. Well, a little illustration of a web application. This may look like a website to some of you, but this is actually a web application. This is something that I did for a course years ago. It has a little login that stores information, lets you log in. I have it set with the admin, the username and password is already there, so you can log in, you don't have to know it. Well, once you log in, this is like an employee management or a client management. It's a management software for a business. It's really simple, and just, it was for an assignment just to kind of get the stuff to work. But you can see that here it displays, employees that are currently working a job, where their job's located, whether it be at their home office or on site at some other client's office, client ID numbers and that kind of thing. That way you can search the job record. You can go to job records page, search for job records, hit search. Oh, I got to enter job ID. Well, let's just go to clients because this works. So if I know client ID, I can go here and search. It'll pull up the information that's stored in the database somewhere on the server. We can add clients, delete clients, reset the form. And that was kind of the basic requirements for this. But this is a good little management tool. Every time you get a new client, you put their information in here and you can always search it up. You can do the same thing for employees and jobs. And as you add jobs, go back on the main menu, they'll appear here, the current jobs. This is a web application. If we view the source page, you'll see that this is the HTML that I coded in here. I used the jQuery, and then I created also my own CSS file. The jQuery does a lot of things, both with the JavaScript and their CSS, to make the page look a certain way. Sometimes I don't want it to look that way, so I put my own CSS file in there to change the things that I wanted to change. I also put my own scripts in here, and this is where you're going to put your own functions and stuff. This is the CSS that I wrote, and you look at the JavaScript I wrote here. It just contains the functions. Like if you add a client, this function will check to see if there's an existing client with the same name. Same thing, checks the employee forms, all the good stuff. Add employee, check the job form. You got error checking, check for existing jobs. It does a lot of different things. I mean, I showed you what it did, and this is all the code behind it. Let's see. This is a web application, and this is what we're going to do in this class. We will not create, well, at the end, your final is going to be create a web application of your own that does something interesting using what we've learned in this course. This could be one of them, but don't let me see my code used in your assignment, because that would be bad. I would suggest coming up with something different. This, I'm not sure if you guys got this or not, but this is a list of the required software for the course. I just wanted to show, I suppose, that we're going to all need a web browser, but you have that. If you're taking this course from home, you're in a web browser. We're going to talk about Node.js. I'm not entirely sure we will use Node.js, but we will know what it does. Same with MongoDB, MySQL. You got to learn, I think, Node.js and MongoDB, you can learn how to integrate into your projects without learning another language. SQL, or SQL, as most people call it, is another language. And I'm not sure I want to pack that into you. But we'll go over it anyway. You'll know what it is. You'll know what Apache is, which generally run on servers for talking back and forth from the user to the client. And this is the important thing here. Again, we're going to talk about these, but we probably will not use Xcode or Android Studio. Xcode is if you want to make an application specific for Apple phones. You would use Xcode and Objective-C to write that. Android Studio, or the Studio Development Kit, would be used to make, Android specific devices. And they're really nice. If you have the opportunity to download these, most of them are free or have a free version. So you can get started today if you wanted to. They're really good IDEs to use. They're just specific to one device or one operating system. But it is good to get in there, kind of push some buttons, type in some code, and see what you can make, because they make it really easy with a lot of drag and drop stuff, so you don't have to write everything by hand. What we're going to use in this course, or what I'm going to use, it's totally up to you if you do what I do or not. But I like Visual Studio, and I will show you probably next week. Yeah, next week we're going to start coding. So I will show you Visual Studio, and how I do it. Beyond that, we're also, again, jQuery, JMobile. That's just something that we're going to download and throw in a folder on each of our projects. RGraph we'll talk about, and this is for making graphs and stuff. We will be doing something like a graph. We're going to draw some stuff. Express.js, handlebars, good for templating. Bootstrap code is stuff to get you started. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Many of them I'm not sure are terribly useful, but it all depends on where you take this from here. If you go on and start doing web development professionally, you'll probably want to know about all this stuff and more. So back to the chapter. that's about it, I think, for this week. Um, Come in here and you just read. There's a few things that you want to remember for the quiz. In the very first paragraph of the book, it tells you, basically what I just said. If let's see, so devices that run on Google's Android operating system, programmed using Java. Apple stuff is Objective-C. If you want yours to run on Windows phones, you need to use the .NET framework or languages such as C# and Visual Basic. And it says that a significant percentage of the apps still need to be developed in a native development environment, like for specific phones, but HTML and JavaScript make it possible to develop apps that can run across all mobile platforms through the web. And that's, again, what we're doing in this course, making cross-platform applications that will run on any device through the web. They usually run through the browser. A lot of the apps that you actually probably use on a regular basis are the same way. They are just disguised, or that CSS is used to make it look like a native phone app. So you can't always tell the difference. So remember, Android is Java, iPhone is Objective-C, Windows Phone, .NET Framework. Remember the term dedicated applications. We talked about those a few times. Remember that HTML5 and JavaScript are what make it possible to develop apps that run cross-platform. We did not talk about the JavaScript object notation, or JSON. JSON is what I call them. I'm not quite sure how you say them, or it's supposed to be said, but that's how I say it. JSON, it's an extension on a file, and that is how data is stored on different storage locations, either on your computer, maybe cookie, a local storage, which is what we are going to use to store data, instead of a server. We'll talk more about that later. Just know that JSON is a syntax for storing and exchanging text information. So your browser is based all on text. I mean, all the text is in there, and even everything that's written that you can't see within the tags is text. So the JSON stores it in such a way where it can reinterpret it and only show what needs to show. We'll get into that later. Just know the definition. And lastly, a canvas. HTML5 gave us the canvas where we can draw pictures or create drawings using JavaScript to draw pictures. And we will do some of that in the future. But just know those for this week's test. Please get signed into and enrolled in the Cengage course as soon as possible. And I see this every semester. A lot of students like to wait till Sunday night to get things done when it's due Monday morning, or it's due Sunday night at midnight. I strongly advise you take Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a couple hours each day for all of your classes, not just mine. Do it as soon as you can. That way you have the rest of the week and you don't have to worry about it. I know it's like talking to a wall. I'm one of the biggest procrastinators there is. It is in fact Sunday night, and I'm making this video to open the course on Monday. I try not to do that, and I encourage you not to do that. We're going to be who we are, but it makes my life easier if you get it in sooner. And this class, I know it's starting out slow. Please bear with me. We will start rolling very shortly. And when we do, you're probably going, if you don't understand the material, if it's not coming right to you, you're going to need several hours for some of these projects. So please do not wait till Sunday night. Send me an email, say, hey, I can't get the assignment in because I don't understand it. And I'm going to say, you should have emailed me Monday or Tuesday. Maybe I could have helped. It's due Monday. So let's get the work done and put some effort into the classes. You paid for it. Might as well get out of it what you can, right? Again, email me if there's any problems, especially with Cengage getting into the course, because I'll need to get that fixed immediately. All right, thanks.